Welcome to Cricket Safari and another tough night at the office for the Sharjah Warriors. The Desert Vipers remaining very dominant in Season 4 of the DP World ILT20. That man there, David Payne, in the wickets tonight. Supported beautifully by the rest of the Desert Vipers bowlers, it was a very tough night for the Sharjah Warriors batters. Having won the toss, they decided to bat first, a decision I'm sure they're asking a few questions about now. The dominance continues for the Desert Vipers. Sam Curran in the runs again. 37 for him tonight. Was captain again. Sikandar Raza, the captain for the Sharjah Warriors, just got it wrong tonight. So the Desert Vipers get the 2 points. They are qualifier 1. They'll get 2 bites of the cherry of this competition now. Not just qualifiers, but things looking up for them. The Warriors have some serious work to do if they are to go any further in this competition. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us. David Payne is joining us, Andy Flower, Waka Yunus and myself. And look, congratulations. Another really solid victory for you boys. Give the others a chance, eh?
It was just nice to be not as tight as they have been before. We were saying coming into this one, it'd be nice to win one a little bit more comfortably. It got a bit niggly towards the end, but yeah, it was nice to be a little bit more comfortable tonight. It
was an interesting decision that we talked about. Courageous, Andy, I think is what we decided to say. Well, interestingly courageous, that they decided to bat first. It did not pay dividends for the Sharjah Warriors tonight. Lot of opportunities missed there. What are they going to say now in that changing room?
Well, just listening to Sikandar Raza talk about that decision in the post-match interview, he was obviously trying to justify it, saying that if they'd got a reasonable score on the board, they might have been able to defend it. But it was a tough ask, I thought, for the batsmen. The Vipers have got in my opinion, the best seam attack in the competition, and to back that up, they've got the stats to back that up. I think they've taken 16 wickets in power play, easily the most out of the 6 teams. And they've got some outstanding swing bowlers. We've got a left-arm exponent of that skill right here. Obviously, Sam Curran's the other lefty. Khuzaima's been swinging it round corners all season, hasn't he? And Naseem Shah was playing tonight as well. So that's a powerful seam attack to insert yourselves on. And they paid the price this evening. I think it's fairly obvious to see.
It's a tough one, isn't it? It is very tough to sort of what to do against this lot. I mean, they've got really good batting attack also. Don't forget that. They've got such a solid batting lineup that even if you sort of bowl first, they would have put up a really good show. They would have probably read the pitch a bit better. I thought Sharjah Warriors were, winning the toss and electing to bat and not reading the surface. They thought that there's already 2 games being played on this surface, but they forgot that it's been a week. This pitch has been watered, there's been rain around, so there'll be juice in the surface. I don't think they read the pitch very well, and they had to pay for that.
They certainly did, and you guys got it all right up front, particularly yourself. You got your 3 wickets for 14. We spoke at the innings break, and you talked about a little assistance in terms of swing early on. Let's have a look at some of your wickets here, and tell us what you felt worked really well, other than the swing tonight.
Well, as I said, I still think the swing was the main weapon. Certainly to Johnson Charles here, it was very much trying to stay away from his arc. Such a strong leg side player. Similar with Kola Cadmore as well, both strong leg side players, so it's trying to actually, where I normally swing the ball in, trying to take it away from them to stay away from that arc, and then with Rui just trying to still hit the pitch hard and swing it away from the lefty. So like I say, actually the plans tried to stay relatively simple with hitting the lengths and lines, and just more about then the shape of swing that I was trying to use. You didn't go
tempted to sort of bring it back. Normally when you have certain strength, if you have a strength where you bring the ball back into the right hander, and you have to just carry on doing the other job which you probably not comfortable with, you're more comfortable with the ball coming in, and just sort of, didn't you get sort of tempted that, okay, I might have a chance to just knock the stumps out?
I did, and I had some helpful fielders make sure that they kind of kept me in check a little bit. I also had Azam Mahmood in my ear a little bit, that the pre-game chat was to keep our plans very simple and not chase those wickets really, and keep our plans simple, and when they're working, stick at them and not change and go chasing the wicket. So yeah, certainly the thought crossed my mind at times to try and go for the golden wicket, swing it back in, but No, I was glad that I didn't, because I think it was the right plan in the end.
Yeah.
Payne, you've played for England, but most of your cricket you've played domestically has been at Gloucester. How do you find conditions in England comparing to conditions you found here in the ILT20? You've been successful in both arenas. Are there many differences that you notice?
I wouldn't say hugely. I'd say the similarities are in cricket almost. For me, there's two types of pitch. There's a good pitch where I'd probably go to my swing and try and use that up top, and then graft from there with Yorkers and slow balls at the back end, and then a little bit more tired pitches like we saw tonight. And certainly in Bristol, where I play, we get a bit of both. Small ground, you might have a good pitch and need to be on your craft with the swing and the Yorkers, and then if it's a bit tired, then that's where my slow ball game comes in a little bit more. And I find it's quite similar in the ILT, that, like you talked about earlier, it's actually very quickly about reading the pitches here. And then I think what we do very well as a bowling unit is the communication between us about what the pitch is like and what it's doing and what's working tonight. And again, it felt like we did that well tonight.
And it's a very English weather also. Sorry.
No, you're right, Dulce. You go.
It's a very
good.
English weather also, because the weather started changing, isn't it?
It has. It did feel very English tonight. We mentioned that before the game, but so hopefully it warms up again soon.
Let's talk about the way you bowled as a pack tonight, the way you used spin. What were you saying? What were you saying to one another? You talked about the importance of communication. So when you had a first look at it, what did you sort of pass on to the other bowlers around you?
I think the early message, so I tried, one slower ball in my third over, and actually went for 4, and very quickly the communication back to the guys was actually, it's probably not a slower ball night. It felt like swing was the main weapon, like I've talked about, and just actually bowling your simple good lines and lengths, and that seemed to be putting the batters under pressure. So I'd say it doesn't always have to be big communication. At times it's just a simple, small message, and that was what we stuck to tonight. You've
got some stars on your lineup, Khuzaima being one of them, and we've seen him and spoken about him at length after some of the games that you've played. What's he like, and what's he like to work with?
He's such a good man, to work with, such a humble man. I'm all ready to go back to Gloucester and probably recommend him, because I think he's a superstar in the making in the future. Like you say, swings it both ways at pace, can whack a few at the end, and a good fielder as well. So those kind of three-trick cricketers are very rare, and what he can do, I think he's going to be a superstar. He absolutely is, a one that we'll continue to watch in this tournament. And so I'd love to know, before you go, what is the feeling like within the Vipers at the moment? Because it's one thing to be playing well, but you're the first to qualify. You're going to have 2 bites of the cherry no matter what happens. So do you feel good? Do you take your foot off the gas a little bit? Lockie didn't play tonight. Does that rotation, the old horses for courses, I do love that expression that we're saying a lot in this tournament. But what does it look like for the Vipers over the next couple of games? I think as you've touched on, one of our strengths is our bowling pack, and that we are able to rotate our bowlers. I think when we come into the tournament, the coaches are very clear on that we're not all going to play every game, and one of our strengths being that we can rely on the depth of our squad. And it gives those guys the days to be able to just sit back and rest for a game and then come in fresh tomorrow. And I wouldn't be surprised to see if Lockie comes back in tomorrow. We'll see what they go with. Obviously we saw the pitch, so it might be an extra spinner, who knows, but I think the coaching staff can sit back and are quite relaxed, knowing that they can call upon anyone at any time. We've seen Case Ahmed come in for a couple of games, and every time he does, he's always on it. So it's very refreshing having such a good group to just be able to call upon anyone at any time. Yeah, the Vipers have a great reputation in this tournament of being a very well put together side. You've got Tom Moody in charge, who runs the cutter but does a spectacular job. Are you enjoying your time there? Is it a great franchise to be a part of? Yeah, I think I always try to mention it as probably one of, if not the best franchise that I've been a part of. The way they look after us off the field is second to none. The way they look after our families and everything, they make sure, I think the most important thing, that you kind of leave this tournament saying, I had a great time regardless of what the results were. But I think it always seems to work out that if you're having a good time off the field and enjoying each other's company, enjoying the environment, then usually on the field takes care of itself, and that's what it's doing at the moment. Maybe the Sharjah Warriors need to get down to a bowling alley or something, I don't know. But look, hey, thank you very much. Congratulations tonight, a great performance, and you've qualified top. Nicely done. Go and put your feet up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Lovely of him to come over here. Now, so the Vipers are superb. They stay superb in this competition. Quite honestly, what do the Sharjah Warriors do from here? Because there seems to be some big holes in that team, or is it, and the stars that they do have, they're relying on what? She's throwing some tough questions. I am. I'm coming hot. I'm coming hot.
I tell you, they've lost Tim David. That's a huge loss for them. If you look at their batting order, you've got a little bit of power at the top and then not a lot in the middle. And those finishing jobs with a bat are vitally important. So they've lost Tim David, one of the most powerful cricketers and in great form. He played 3 games and then he was off. They've also lost Patirana, who is a brilliant T20 cricketer. We saw him win the game against Gulf Giants at Sharjah a few nights ago. And some of the Sri Lankan players have gone off to a national camp. That's a big problem for them. So there's not much light at the end of this tunnel at the moment for them. They are going to have to dig really deep if they want to get anything out of this tournament at all.
Sikandar Raza said in the post-match that now you've got to play every game like it's a final and how better to be prepared once they get to the finals for playing finals, which is, I mean, it's a huge statement to make, but can they do it, Waka, from what you can see, some of the players that they do have, the leader that is Sikandar now, will Tim Southee come back? What would you do if you were in charge?
Look, I think it's going to be tough. As Andy said, there is very little spark left in this unit, and it's not only tonight, it was yesterday also. The way they lost yesterday, I think it really shone today also that they didn't really come out of it. I think because games come thick and fast, you have to really forget what happened yesterday. You got to really prepare next game. Don't talk much about the previous game. But I've had the feeling that even at the toss, when Sikandar came, they were still thinking, or they were still under the pressure that they lost badly, can they beat this team, which is top of the table? And when you have this sort of doubt, it is very, very difficult to lift as a skipper, also as a team management also. So I feel the best way to go about things is whatever resources you have, you just got to forget what happened today and yesterday and come back with a fresh mindset like Vipers did. Like Vipers lost the game, they went away, they were lucky that they had 3 days off and came back fresh, and they looked really, really fresh out there. So I feel that's all they can do. They have not much left in the tank, so they got to come out and gun blazing and make sure that they deliver. They're talented side, but unfortunately, they're just going down and down.
Yeah, something's not gelling. And interesting. So David Payne here was telling us how the bowling plans were simple. They kept it simple. And sometimes maybe when things feel a bit complicated and you're trying to overcomplicate it by sort of doubling down and doubling back at the toss and not doing sort of what everyone has done before you, sometimes those stats don't lie. At the top, Sharjah Warriors, is there something to be said for maybe keeping it slightly more simple and not overcomplicate it for themselves?
Well, I thought they complicated the toss decision this evening, I must say. But they've got a very calm and he's a young coach, but he's got some reasonable experience, obviously a lot of playing experience in JP Duminy. So if he can have an effect on his side, it would be to bring some calmness and some clarity to the side. You can do that with steady selection. You can do that with clarifying your tactics. And one thing that's absolutely certain, Sikandar Raza, the captain, will not give up. He's a fighter. So if JP Duminy can work closely with him, they can get that dressing room feeling as positive and aggressive as possible leading into their next match.
So they had the game last night. Tuscanama got 3 wickets. Tonight it was 2 wickets. If we were looking for some positives for the Sharjah Warriors, is he it?
I mean, what we saw today, we can't really talk much about their batting. I think Taskin Ahmed was probably the shining light, you can say, in that he bowled with some venom and swung the ball also. So that's a really positive sign. Beautiful delivery there when he got Hassan Nawaz, and he was pumped up. And this was the probably stage when we thought, okay, maybe 1 more or 2 more wickets here, things can change. But runs were never enough. So he's definitely going to play part. I think Taskin Ahmed and then Adil Rashid. I think he's another one who if they had maybe 30-40 more runs, things would have been different. But the positives are only Taskin and probably Adil Rashid.
All right, well, Waqar, it's your turn tonight to go and start the car.
All right.
Heat up the jug.
I'll do that.
I'd love a cuppa. That'd be fabulous. We're going to take a short break. Andy, you've got to stay with me. Sorry about that. We've got a new guest. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about what is coming up for you tomorrow on the DP World ILT20. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Cricket Safari. We're here at Dubai International Cricket Stadium where the Desert Vipers, their reign continues. They have beaten the Sharjah Warriors, a dominant victory. In fact, the Sharjah Warriors are running out of ideas in this competition. The Desert Vipers not only qualify now, but they get 2 bites at the cherry because they qualify 1-2, which is very exciting. Darren Ganga joins Andy and myself on the sideline. Darren Ganga, that is a lovely way to start and continue a tournament, to stay that dominant. The Desert Vipers, how is it just, you feel like, could this be the year?
Yeah, it could possibly be, because we had that concern after they won 5 in a row, whether or not they'll run out of steam. After that loss against Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, their performance tonight just reconfirms the quality of the stock in that side. They're well motivated. They seem to be a well-oiled engine and machine, because they have players stepping up at different times, and they're also thinking about the future. The fact that they're rested, Lockie Ferguson tells me that they're thinking about the game ahead, making sure that they have fit resources for the business end of the tournament. They've already secured themselves 2 bites of the cherry, as you mentioned, so that's 50% chance added to being in that final. So I don't think that Sam Curran, Lockie Ferguson will be worried. All departments of the game seem to be covered. David Payne missed the last game. He came in, picked up a 3-4 play of the match. So everything going well. And I think they're reading the cricket nicely. They're going according to plan, doing their research, playing to the conditions, which is very, very important in T20 cricket.
Andy, they are so consistent, and they have been, I want to say, throughout all of the series, all of the different versions of the DP World ILT20, always the bridesmaid, never the bride though, which is a problem for them. They can't quite get that last game across the line. But from what you've seen and the progress they've made in the now 4 seasons, would you say that potentially they look like they could be lifting the trophy at the end of this?
Well, without doubt, they look like the form side of the tournament. They have got exactly what you talked about. They've got the most wins in ILT20 history, but they've never won the cup. So there is that pressure hanging over them, and they won't be oblivious to that, absolutely. So they have to guard against any complacency drifting into their dressing room at all. They need to stay sharp. They will obviously be feeling very confident, but we've seen examples in the past where the dominant side of a tournament doesn't come through and win the final. The 50-over World Cup in India recently, where Australia pipped India in the final after India had dominated everyone during the tournament, would be a really good example of that happening. So they need to guard against that. I would imagine with James Foster and Tom Moody in charge, that shouldn't be a problem for them.
No, certainly not. There's plenty of superstars in that lineup, as we know. Khuzaima Tanveer is one of them. Let's find out more about him.
पहले बताएं, आपका असली नाम क्या है?
सर, असली नाम यही जो आपने लिया, खुज़ैमा बिन तनवीर।
पर एक रीज़न है, मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ। आर यू श्योर आपका असली नाम जेम्स एंडरसन नहीं है?
देखें, वो तो मेरे आइडियल हैं, उनसे तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं मिला सकते, क्योंकि मैं तो बस उनके करीब भी नहीं हूँ, बट मुझे वो बहुत पसंद है, जेम्स एंडरसन। जैसे कि टॉप के बैट्समैन, उनको पहले एक जगह से पक्का करते रहेंगे, अचानक से वहीं से एक इन स्विंग या वहीं से एक सीधी बॉल, जिस पे या तो फिर बोल्ड के चांसेस होते हैं या स्लिप के चांसेस होते हैं, एक ही जगह पे 18, 19, 20 बॉलें फेंकना, 36, 40 बॉलें फेंकना, ये आसान नहीं होता। बीइंग अ फास्ट बॉलर, मैं भी फास्ट बॉलर हूँ, मैं नहीं फेंक सकता, तो ये चीज़ मुझे उनकी बहुत एडमायर करती है।
That's 4, and the DP World ILT20 2025 champions, the Dubai Capitals for the first time.
देखिए, उस वक्त मेरा पहला सीज़न था, ILT फर्स्ट टाइम खेल रहा था मैं, तो आई थिंक उस चीज़ ने मुझे काफ़ी सिखाया कि अगर आपने प्रेशर सिचुएशन आपके ऊपर आई थी, उसको कैसे हैंडल करना है, और अगर आपसे टीम कुछ एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है तो उस पर पूरा कैसे उतरना है।
We've had a phenomenal tournament last year, so it's and actually he bowled nice in the final, and I think he bowled the last over, which the game was within reason kind of almost done by then. So you learn from matches, you learn from experiences, and then it's putting the effort into what is required after that. Like I say, if it's in a moment, is it a match, is it a tournament, is it half a year, is it a year, whatever it might be, you know, always like evaluating. But then it's also then time to move on and be excited about what's going to come up.
देखिए, इस लेवल पे अगर मेरे कोचेज़ और अगर मेरा कप्तान मुझसे ये एक्सपेक्ट करता है और इतना ट्रस्ट करता है, तो मेरे लिए ये चीज़ काफ़ी है एक ग्राउंड में परफॉर्म करने के लिए कि वो मेरे ऊपर अपना पूरा ट्रस्ट करते हैं। नए बॉल से बॉल दे देते हैं, पुराने बॉल से भी ट्रस्ट करते हैं, डेथ ओवर्स में भी ट्रस्ट करते हैं। ये आई थिंक मेरे लिए फेयर इनफ है कि मैं किसी भी सिचुएशन में परफॉर्म कर सकूँ ग्राउंड में।
And I don't want to age us significantly, but he turned 26 today, so that's good for him. It's all looking up for him, but he has been superb. And, you know, I honestly had forgotten that he was a part. He bowled that last over. How much do you learn from things like that, Darren Ganga, as a player, and those clutch moments when it doesn't go your way?
Well, it's surely a crossroad in your career. It can push you to going into a negative sort of mindset for similar type situations in the future. But if you're a positive thinker, if you expect more from yourself and you prepare better from that experience, you can also turn things around. I remember back in 2006 playing in that Stanford T20 final, we lost to Guyana, missed out on winning $1 million. But then a year after, we beat Jamaica in that final. But it just gave you a little more intense hunger to want to do better. And I think that's the attitude that he has, an attitude to want to be the person to deliver for his team. So all credit and praise to Khuzaima, the way he's started this season.
And the coach, the way the coach must have, you know, spoken to him after the game, for him to come out like he has, sort of 10 months later, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Well, it speaks volumes for his character, that he's come back and he looks stronger. He looks stronger physically. He's obviously stronger emotionally. It would be nice to ask him exactly what have you learned from that experience, because he says he learned something. What was it? We'll look to do that on interview sometime. But good comparison with James Anderson, swings it both ways, outstanding performer.
He is an outstanding performer and he will continue to do so in this tournament. Thank you so much for joining us. There is plenty more cricket coming up for you tomorrow on the DP World ILT20. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.